And we are live. How are you, everyone, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, how are you, Dean? And you're here today, and it's a pleasure to have my sister, actually, my elder sister, actually interviewing me about what is systemic coaching. It's a question, like that. I believe everybody's asking. So thank you for being here, Dr. Nivin Sharaf, and thank you for that.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How are you, everyone? And thank you for this achiever kind of approach in the beginning of of the session. It's like thank you for being here, like my guest, as mashallah, very well known, reputable coach in the Middle East, and being my brother, I know that you already graduated from Main Shams University Engineering. You were a very successful engineer, and you still is very successful engineer. And you had software and hardware of computer, and you were a big time leader in this in Orange. And then at certain point you said, okay guys, I'm going to put my coaching hat, and you took the lead from there. And since you've been there, you're just getting more courses and more courses, like long time there. So let me start by asking you this: like, what made you stop your career or pause your career as an engineer and putting the hat of a coach?
That's a question that was never asked to me live, so I will have to really, and you surprised me by it because we didn't agree on that. So let's okay. So in back in 2010, it started even before that, maybe by 3 years in 2007. I was when I started being a manager in Orange Business Services, France Telecom, where I believe it was a great opportunity there to connect with great people, to learn, to develop, to really discover yourself what you want to be. I graduated as an engineer, as you said, and I was totally into engineering work. And at this moment of time, I was working in operations and project management of technical projects, and this was just 2007 when I was promoted to be a line manager for a team. I found I before that by 2 years I was involved in the hiring process as a senior member of the organization. I was involved in in developing a hiring management system and in interviewing new people, seeing the funnel of different specializations being actually added to the company. And at this moment of time, I just realized that my passion is towards people, being with them, developing them, and at the same time, I was also finding that maybe the community needs a different kind of intervention. In the Middle East, here, we are actually between two things: our traditions, our culture, our way of doing things. And at the same time, what is found there for the modern psychology and organization management and leadership researchers are all coming from the West with a different that come in from a different culture. When you apply this, these practices and skills outside their context and put them just as they are in the Middle East, there is a lot of tension that happens inside those who are applying and those who are receiving this application. So I felt, like I'm in both worlds. I've been actually appraised in language school. I've been in I worked I've been in different schools, which actually with different cultures. During my childhood and during my and being in the engineering school, I've been actually also taking other programs with other. I tried to take some courses in some other universities. I was a great networker since I was in the end of high school and in the university. So in a way, I was really in between cultures. I've been in this what's Islamic and what's traditional and what's the way of our family doing things, the way of the how the modern psychology or the modern research of leadership, how it's bringing in new practices. I'm seeing it happening in the company. I've been working in a German culture in the beginning in Siemens, and then in France Telecom, the French culture that actually acquired an American company. So in a way, there was, like I saw different cultures with different contexts, different leadership styles, and I saw that the application at this phase of time, our leadership team, the Egyptian leadership, were in a way struggling to develop their own. culture of doing things. Think global and act locally. This was something that was very hard. The
Sure.
second thing, it caused a lot of confusion to new generations. If you are not really appraised and with rooted personal culture, traditions, Islamic concepts, and understanding what your religion is asking you to do, if you're not rooted there, you will be easily, and very vulnerable into accepting the Western way of doing things without looking at the context and understanding how it fits in your philosophy, your culture, and you embrace it without even understanding how it affects you subconsciously and how it will affect the new generations. There were a lot of silos.
There,
Yeah,
because
there were,
like
yeah.
now people, you're going explaining why did you go there, but people don't know what's coaching is. Like like every time I tell people, okay, like let's do coaching for this particular matter. Like like for me, I like having to attend your course and for the International Coach Federation and also John Maxwell team and stuff. So sometimes I offer people to do coaching if they are struggling with certain thing and they, okay, how about what do I do in this? And I don't like to give this like, oh, you do this because I don't know this personality. So when I tell them coaching, they say, what the heck is coaching? Like it's a new thing that's coming up in society. I don't think that people had something called coaching 100 years ago. If you can talk to us about this first, and then we can go back to your journey. How did you become a coach?
Actually, I can tell you in the beginning in 2010, I hated the coaching practice that was there, and I tried, I was very shy, promoting myself as a coach. I took coaching programs. I took internal coaching that was offered by France Telecom to new managers and how to coach your staff and your employees and how to go an internal coach. This was something part of integrating corporate coaching culture. That was back in 2008, 2009 in France Telecom. And really, it was really great to have this in Orange Business Services. And then, to use, I couldn't use this outside the organization. So I took my own programs. I took with American Board of New Linguistic Programming, NLP, and I took programs from Meta Coaching Foundation, Accessing Personal Genius, and this stuff. I didn't actually like what I got. And I didn't like the coaching practice in the market. It wasn't very convincing to me. And I was very shy of saying that I'm a coach. I was saying myself as an expert in relationships.
Like what?
Hmm?
Like what is coaching? Like
I
this
that's
itself, a coach. Like define it for me.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what happened afterwards because this relates to how the coach, evolved and how I respected being a coach and how I'm very proud now being a coach. Like this was a journey, and it's very normal that when people are offered coaching, that they actually it's something they don't know, and at the same time they may resist because of the wrong practice and the malpractice in the market, which is very normal and usual. So in a way, like to understand what coaching is, it is something that's evolved as per the historical saying or the history that's present that how it's presented to us. That it started maybe in the 1860s when there was this term like it was used in the coaching, like in bringing people into something they want. And if you look at the term coach itself, it goes to the carrot that's behind the horses that's actually that takes them from a place to another. So this, and it comes from, some people say it comes from a Megarian word, so something like from Hungary. Like it's in their language, coach means a companion or somebody who takes you from a place to another. And I'm not sure if this is right or wrong because I'm not sure if this is coming from Hungary. Is it correct or not? And then in the 1960s, it became Thomas. There's somebody called Thomas Leonardo. Something started introducing it and talking about the mental game of sports and talking about how this can happen in organizations with the human capital movement, and this stuff started to be something that evolved afterwards, to find in the 1990s some practitioners who want to make some associations or join some associations that are non-governmental and still something that's coined for human development, setting objectives, being finding your passion, knowing, understanding yourself more, being putting some actions and following up these actions. It became part of the human development methodology that supports people to discover themselves, to know their goals, to adjust what they want to do and actually do it, and learn from that in the end, without putting a subject to what is happening there. Whoever will put the subject is the client themselves. So what we are going to talk about is not the issue of the coach. It's how he will support you to handle it and reach it. So I shouldn't be an expert in what you're talking about, but I'm expert who can support you to reach it, support you to work with your inner self, work with your inner game, your mindset, your thoughts, your passion, your emotions, your values, discover your limiting beliefs and know how to move forward with it. And maybe after the year 2000, there became many specializations of coaching. And now I believe there are countless number of coaching specialities where coaches are offering support to people in different domains, including sports, including business, including relationships, life coaching, health, even management of organizations and organization cultures. And it's growing and still used as a modality within the human development, and different that's used with training, with consulting, with education, with different types of human interventions that supports people to learn. Coaching is one of the modalities that's really in the uprise during maybe the last 15 or 20 years.
This is very interesting, actually, because it reminded me with the book that you published a few years ago. It's called The Sacred Bond. I don't know, did you do the English version yet, or it's only available in Arabic? Because I we were doing English version. I don't know.
You are the one who supported me with the translation and the editing of the book. You
No,
and thank you for Mariam also. She was the one who revised the book, and.
did you?
No, because actually I published the Arabic book, and some people who asked me for the English, I sent them it as PDF, but I didn't publish it as a book that's publishable online.
No,
Um,
Mohammed, because it's now easy to publish it through Amazon على فكرة. Like you can only have a digital copy in Amazon. So please do it, because I didn't receive any copy, not even the PDF.
I sent you the.
I like to handle the book, and there is a lot of upcoming. And I know you already had another copy that is fortified copy and edited copy with some updates in the culture and all these kind of things. And I wanted like the young generation to have access to it, especially here in Canada. So maybe you can do this, inshallah, in the next few things. The other thing I noticed that you already started with couple coaching, and then you went into the International Coach Federation, you became an accredited trainer. And then after that, you became systematic coaching and for companies and all that. But the thing is, like the background that you brought as an engineer, you were like a very high ranked position in Orange. You experienced all the inside of this. Do you ever think this now as what's happening now as you before, like the old you comes inside you when you do this kind of systematic coaching, or you feel it's separate issues for you to deal as a manager and you deal as a coach with the same problems that you already experienced before? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that's a very good question, and actually, I didn't stop working for organizations. Like since I left 2010, I always supported organizations with different modalities like training, consulting, assessments, talent management, support. Like with their management and leadership team, culture transformation. But the brink of the systemic coaching, I was first introduced to this term in 2015. So for 6 years, I was doing things that may seemingly look from outside unrelated, until I sat with my mentor, who actually, I told him people are confused with what I'm bringing to them. I'm talking about trust. I'm talking about things that are deeply rooted inside, like the relationships and systems and their culture, to discuss it and see these patterns, how they actually affect them, whether they're in couples and relationships, whether they're groups, whether they're teams, whether they are a culture of an organization, whether they're a leadership team, or whether they're individuals who are actually coming in with some certain objectives and they want some development, whether they were in the community having conflicts related to diversity, inclusion, and acceptance in their communities. So in a way, I brought I'm bringing the same value to these different contexts using the same tools and the same practices, and it's a mindset that is developing in me, but I don't know what it is. I know it is the same thing everywhere, but I don't know what it is. Like everybody's confused. Am I a relationship coach? Am I a corporate consultant who works in talent management? Am I somebody who supports culture transformation? Am I an assessor? So people see me with different, in different places doing different things,
Yeah, I see.
that are, each one of them is a speciality of its own. Well, I know it's the same thing. You're just seeing what, like you're putting yourself as an observer, somebody who is supporting people to understand what they're doing and how it fits with their reason d'etre, or why they are there and why this system is there. And I'm supporting them actually to discard things that are actually exhausting energy and needless things, which is called in the culture entropy, or the wasted energy, supporting them actually to develop further, to enrich, to grow, and to sustain this growth. So, in a way, this is how to innovate new ideas. And that's why I'm using this term of innovation creed as my branding, or the brand that I'm using now to support organizations and companies, which is actually, it's a creed when it comes to, it's rooted in our beliefs and belief system, that innovation is the way to sustain. And to enable this innovation, you have to enable, psychological safety. You'll have to support teams to be outspoken. You will have to work on the systems and how it's related and connected to each other. Looking at this is the background of engineering. Looking at everything is interconnected. You're being part of a team, at the same time you're a partner to somebody who's out there, and there is a systemic impact of the environment and the country culture and what's happening in the context that you are in, economically and politically, socially. And at the same time, there is something related to the company direction, the strategy, the customer needs, and the customer behavior. They're all interconnected systems. You are the customer, you are
So
the leader, you are the partner, you are the, so they're, all the systems are interconnected inside you and around you. So in a way, you need to really see the roles and actually put, you know, uh, find wisdom, and ask God some wisdom actually to support you to reach this. What is the wise action to take?
okay.
And here the
Now I
coach comes
have an
in.
organization, for example, and I ask you to come, and found one of like the teams have like a little bit of this harmony, but it's happening because of one person. This is like a um, are you going to address this issue in front of all of the team? Are you gonna like how like me as an organization manager or whatever, and I ask you to come and fix the issues? I feel like it's always chaos. There is this vibe that's going on. That's my clients sense it when they come to the you know to be served and blah blah blah, and it's affecting the productivity. Like how do you actually manage? Like, do you manage at the managerial level? Do you do all the levels? Do you do individual coaching in the in between? Like I don't quite get that, and I think so many people also would not know what this will bring into them when you go and help them there. And what's the regular also duration that is a little bit in a medium size company, like for example 15 to 20 people in the company. What's the length of the program that you might be offering? And you can give me a range. Okay, like I know that not all of the size fits all, and you have like tailored plans and everything, but like this is just like for people to be inspired, know if you can be good for them and stuff like that.
Okay, so this question is, has multiple dimensions and
Yeah.
multiple phases to talk about. So let's talk about a typical intervention in a company size. Let's talk about a bigger size a little bit, like 15 to 20 is really a small company, where actually these interventions, in a way, will need somebody like working as a consultant and a coach and doing everything at the same time to support them. And in a way, yes, coaching is very efficient there, but it needs some certain maturity to be there. So maybe talk about an organization that maybe have 3 layers or something, or 4 layers, that are actually 30 to 50 employees, or maybe 100 employees. And the leader comes in and he asks for, we're having some silos, we're having some cultural issues, we're having some problems. So the first thing that we start with is actually having a very good talk with this person who's the leader, and see understand what's happening there, and gather the needs through questions, through like having a very whatever length of interview, like we can take information from here to so it's typically it's a 2 hours maybe hearing session to understand the real needs that they're about. And then we ask for some information where we have some like a non-disclosure agreement where we see the organization structure, see the function, the strategy, the vision, the things that are already there. Some organizations are still not ready for coaching, and they need some prerequisite or pre-required interventions of consulting. Like, they don't have yet a competency framework. They don't yet have a solid culture. Their strategy is not yet translated into, actionable items or something like this. So maybe they need a prerequisite of, some consultants' interventions to develop the missing parts. Okay. And actually, this happens in, like in the, like the setting, seeing that, that's the organization is already matured and already has this, but they still don't have the right attitudes or leadership style that can support them to have this, to introduce coaching and work with them in coaching. So in a way, what happens afterwards is that we ask them to do an assessment. The assessments here differ according to the culture of the organization, the business line they're in, what kind of culture assessment that is needed there. Is it about, for instance, resilience, about the energy there? So maybe there's a good report that's coming in from Eurozone that supports that. Is it something related to the values and the culture and understanding? They're having some delusions or inconsistency in the culture implementation around there. So maybe something like Barrett's or the culture assessment can happen. Or sometimes it's merely, like if they don't have enough investments or something, we can do like sample interviews there. Maybe you can sit with about 15 to 20 interviews that happen there with the different, that are representable to the sample of, the population in terms of generations, functions, things like that, where we can actually, take some teams and present this as
A
a
kind of
facility.
screening.
It's an interview, maybe 15 to 20
No, I
minutes.
think screening the culture and the different points of views for the same problem that was addressed to you.
Yeah, there are marvelous assessments out there, and I cannot limit them to only these. And there are many other assessments that
Yeah,
can
of
happen.
course. Yeah.
It's if it's coming in from not understanding the personal differences, the personal styles, or something can be a personality assessment like this, like whatever. So there are many kinds of assessments that can be used there, and we choose the most appropriate for the organization maturity. And then we brief the management with the findings of this assessment. With and this happens, like this cycle in its own is about, 4 to 8 weeks from the beginning of the assignment, where we can get a conclusion what exactly we need to work on. And this assessment provides us some direction. And here starts the coaching, like because here the leadership team should actually come in with, like the most empowered leaders with them, like the leadership team, the maybe the organization owners, the stakeholders, the most important, action takers there, and the most senior decision makers there. They should come in to a conclusion. This is the direction we want. Okay, and here starts the coaching, because actually here we have a solid direction where we can facilitate by coaching, by facilitation sometimes, and by coaching and other times, we can facilitate, like the development process of the organization as here we can intervene with some certain teams, with some certain individuals, with some certain functions, with some interdepartmental. There is a lot of work that can happen. So yes, it's and actually we don't attack all at the same time in this size of organizations. It's normally, like the pilot is taking the organization as a whole. But if we're looking at bigger organizations, like we're looking at something like a scale of 500, 1,000, 2,000 employees, 10,000 employees, we should start with a pilot team. We shouldn't attack all, but in the sizes, up to 100 employees, maybe 150, we can actually work with the full organization. But above that, we need to actually pilot a small team, maybe they sample, close a system of 30 to maybe 50 individuals, work with them in a pilot, make sure that we test this transformation, how it happens, like see what is desired to go there, say where we are, see where we are. We build trust, throughout going there. And then we take steps through coaching to make sure that this team and this subset is actually able to or enables these directions in what they're doing.
So for
Well,
you, Ahmed, like from what I'm hearing, your approach as a coach is to wean people off you. Like it's not doesn't mean that I hired you as to be my coach and then you are going to stick with me forever. It's like you actually teach me new skills to help myself. So it's actually an investment that
yes,
and a skill and things that I will have with me as tools to manage the problems that I couldn't see on my own from before. And then probably if I need you afterward, it's going to be for a quick wrap up or managing small things. Like it's going to be follow up sessions probably as like quick on the go kind of things. As like top up skill or something like that. This is true or not true?
well, that's big part of coaching, that the actual responsible or the accountability is coming on the client side. So normally coaches are not intervening in whatever is happening. They're just supporting and partnering with the client to develop themselves so that they don't create any dependency on them. And that's why most of the engagement, when they are finished, they're finished. And sometimes some clients, and this is something that we need to do better in marketing and ourselves and measuring our results. And this is, I'm seeing very, very, very good happening in some digital platforms where they actually let the client assess where they are. And after some certain coaching sessions, let them assess where they are and see the difference in assessment. So the second assessment is very important. Because I was with you, this is where you started and this is where you ended. However, you did the whole work. My role was to support you to be there, and this is the success of my role. And
Mashallah.
that's why it's very important to make this measurable and acknowledged by the clients. But some clients, after they finish the work, we did all the work, we didn't do anything. Yes, that's my job. It's not my job to do anything, by the way. And this, what you're saying to me, is success to me. You don't need to see me sweating out there. You need to see me committed to your partnership. You need to see me actually there asking you the right questions and supporting you to grow, because I am not in the system. I'm enabling the system from outside.
Okay, so how
So
do we do like a small, like, like very small, quick, on the go kind of tackling to one scenario that you've experienced? Very, very quick thing that you can manipulate the names for the privacy thing. And just send me a very quick coaching intervention that you did with one person, not necessarily in a session, and how this reflects a normal like scenario, not being a coach, and a normal scenario if you're a coach.
so that's you're, there are differences between just working with an individual in an executive coaching session, which is like there are many stories there. But to talk about systemic coaching, where I dealt with a team.
No, I no. This is why I just we okay. So we started with your journey as an engineer, and then we jumped into the definition of coaching, and then we were discussing the systemic coaching. And now we're gonna bring it into the level. And I know that your like your school graduated a lot of well-known coaches, mashallah, in the society. They're being interviewed at the TV, have very good skills, mashallah. But like the thing is, just for a normal person, a difference between a normal conversation and uh, and a coaching conversation. Like for example, somebody came to me and they're just like normal old time scenario. What should I do in this situation? Say you can do this. Oh, I tried, it didn't work. Oh, how about you do this? And they say, oh, this one is gonna be hard. I can't do this. And then you say, okay, how about you do that? And then you say, oh, hmm, that wouldn't work. I know this person, he's not gonna listen. And then, okay, what do I do? And then you run out of solutions, and the other person is not happy either. So, like the normal scenario in this situation, not coaching, it's just like a little bit patriotic and preferring your own experience over the other. While you can be an extrovert, you can be an introvert, you can be outspoken person, you can be not, you can be religious, who's not. Like all these kind of things will make whatever you're suggesting for him is not applicable. So the better thing is to do coaching or advise this person to do coaching. Okay, this problem, I don't know how to deal with it. Go to مثلا Mohamed Sharaf Eldin or whatever, like they're in the market that can help them with this particular thing. So what, like when I come to you, what do I do? Say, and if that's a coaching hat that you.
So normally, most of the people that choose me, and actually, especially, I can see this as a clear theme when it comes to the digital coaching platforms, because they see different coaches and they select me in the end. And those who select me tell me that I come in with a broad range of different, culture, like this. I encounter different cultures, and I'm coming in from, digitally, I'm savvy in technology, and like they see this as something that comes in handy for them for a special dedicated time. They see that I can support them with understanding different cultures, politics, conflicts around them, and working with trust with those who are around them, especially when they're stepping into a new role and the new system and the new culture they're coming into. So they see that, like in a way, when they select me, they feel this vibe that I will support them with these cultural challenges and will support them to gain more trust, visibility, and bring in better skills in conflict resolution and in getting, like their selves from up their game, from where they are to a space where they want to be, especially when moving from a senior manager role to a director role, when coming from a middle manager, coming up to maybe a top leadership position, and taking a seat, like no, I mean, many of my clients came to me and told me, like, I want a seat on the table. They want to be heard, and they want to be having their voice and their opinion in the top leadership. And like, and this is where I can actually support them, provided the right tools, the right sponsorship from the organization, and making them actually really visible and acknowledged as leaders who are filling in their space. This is, like when it comes to the digital coaching platforms, and these are most of my clients are coming in asking me for that. And when when I talk about the teams and the cultural transformation, it's normally people come to me when there are silos in
What do you mean?
teams. Hmm?
What do you mean by silos?
Silos, each team is functioning independently of the others, and there is a lot of hostility in the culture.
Oh,
So,
this
so in a way, like there is,
is very prominent. It's very,
yeah. So yes, and this is where I can support them actually to create an engaging culture, a streamlined culture, but it needs a lot, it comes at cost, emotional cost and transformational cost. That's from the management team, and they will have to bear it. This is where the successful interventions happened when the leadership team had the guts and what it takes to move forward with the transformations needed in them. Because to break these silos, it has to be broken at the beginning in the leadership team. And there are sometimes some leadership teams may seem very nice, very decent, and very cute and this stuff, and actually they're having a lot of under the mat conflicts, mistrust issues, and things that are actually shadowing on the whole organization. And here, when you uncover this rug and see what is really there out there, and they act in vulnerability, it's very painful in the beginning, to see things that they never saw before. But to go out there, they have to pass through it, and it's painful, and they have to persist it. So in a way, this is, like I say that this is for courageous leaders, yes, and those who really want to do these transformations and break these silos, will have to face what they're doing as a leadership team first.
okay. So I'm gonna jump into something very unrelated just to break the like the advanced details, and let me know why did you pick this frame for conversation?
Why did I pick what?
This frame for our conversation, like
When we were
you time and we were actually late to this.
I'm a big fan of cartoon. This is the first thing. I like doodling, this is the first thing. And I saw that it's a blackboard. It reminded me of the days, Nivin, we have this thing that yes, we have a difference in age, but we always studied together in the same room. And I loved studying beside you. And when it comes to any conversation with you, I feel like I'm always learning. And you are like my earliest mentor that maybe I had, in my life, and always there as a life mentor and a companion. And but it always comes in with the sense of education. So I felt that, like this interview has this energy, and I felt it, when I saw it. This is the energy of this conversation. It's more educational, more like, in a way, coming in as doodling. It's I'm talking about things that I love with somebody that I really love, and like that truly. So in a way, I felt like I want to have fun with it. So
Thank you.
I hope we brought it in the energy that we're bringing today. I'm not sure, like I feel this is the way that it should be, like this
Yeah,
blackboard with the choke and the doodles, this stuff. This is
yeah.
how we will bring it, bring it home, baby.
Okay, back to this journey of coaching. Like you did a lot of schools, a lot of countries. Like you went to India, went to Emirat. You were raised in Emirat, actually. You went to Oman. You went to Kuwait. Went to America. You went to Canada. You went to Europe. Different countries there. Like you said, Germany. Went to different schools, and you went up and down. Like you're like I can like this. One time, like the funny thing is, I went the same thing. Like why? So that's why I'm thinking you can name yourself holistic coach because you're taking it the whole thing. Like the thing is, in the olden days, Muhammad, like I don't know if you know, but I'm sure you do, because Abu Bakr al-Razi, al-Khwarizmi, Ibn Sina, all the biggest, very smart doctors, physicists, and musicians, they were having so many specialities before. They were not like, oh, I am this particular thing and nothing else. Like this is speciality, the narrowing of the speciality, as much as it's needed. It doesn't have to be the mainstream because we need only few of those. We need very few to, okay, you need to tackle this in particular because it's advanced. But I feel most people need to have this capabilities of distinguishing when do you have to go to this or when do you have to go to this. But there should be a whole approach for, as I said, the organization will have individuals in them. They will have couples probably working together. Maybe the woman will have a higher rank than her husband, and they're going to have also conflicts. Maybe they're in different teams. Maybe brothers inherited a company, and there is a little bit of like there is a lot of things can be happening in the background. So if you're going with a hat of one person or of one kind of coach, in my guess, it's going to limit your abilities to manage whatever is going there.
um, I can tell from like there are two schools there. Some people like to hire the consultant who will just fix this kind of problem, and they actually understand that like this person is having immense knowledge from seeing 100 cases of the same type and seeing the solutions of them, and really knows what works and what doesn't work in different contexts. And this is very soundy selection of a consultant. And really, to be in this space is really a very strong thing, to have these kinds of consultants who are actually very specialized in the services that they're doing, coming in from the space of systemic coaching. And what you're saying here, it's like a holistic approach, like in medicine, you're having these holistic healers, or the holistic approach. We're looking at the human being as a whole, and seeing the relationship between different things and this stuff. People, like who are actually hiring somebody who is with this systemic approach or systemic supported coaching, they know that this person will not have answers, but he will definitely have the right question, and will definitely maybe pinpoint not only the pain points but also the connections between things and each other, that will support them, whatever kind the problem is, because he's not an expert in any of these problems, to work themselves out in the right direction to reach what they want to do. So it depends. Do you want somebody to give you the answer, or do you want somebody who will ask you the right question and support you to and enables you to really reach the conclusion and the solution on your own and celebrate it because you did it, not because somebody told you what to do. So in a way, we don't tell solutions. We normally just have great conversations, put the right questions, and support the clients to actually maybe see the full picture and choose the right the right direction or the direction they want and learn from it and move forward and still continue moving. So this is the value that we bring more than the specialization. So it depends. If you feel that you're the expert there, hire the systemic coach. If you feel that you're outranked and there's somebody else who really knows more out there and you want this expertise from this person, hire the consultant.
Yeah, but like,
And between both we are, because actually until this day I use consultants in my business. I collaborate with consultants and I need some special niches and specializations to actually offer solutions to clients who don't know what to do there or what is the market practice.
kind of mentoring, Mohammed. It's not going to be coaching. It's going to be mentoring
Yes,
and
giving solutions.
because okay, yeah,
This
and
is where you are in this problem, and this is what the market does, and this is how your competition is outranking you. So this is what you need to do to reach them.
but I'm so
But
happy.
the coaching will support you to maybe after having this solution, how to beat yourself up to do it. Until you do it and until you finish it. Sometimes a certain specialized consultant may have coaching skills and may take you out there to implement it.
So
But
if
the systemic
I
coach,
have a crisis in my team, so I will rather get a consultant to fix this for me while I hire a coach because you said the coaching takes from 4 to 8 weeks, kind of.
not the 4 to 8 weeks to just discover the direction.
I know.
The implementation of the solution typically in this kind of like if we go back to the solution the company is 50 to maybe 100 persons. Normally it takes maybe 1 year and a half till you find so that by the end of the first year we'll see some certain changes about to land the transformation and yield the results. It's normally a process of 18 months or something like this to finalize, especially when it's the culture transformation. But if it's just like maybe a problem of maybe a conflict that needs to be resolved or maybe something that's smaller than the organization itself, it may take less time, but it needs in the beginning some discovery and then design the journey and implementation of the journey. So the discovery, this is a phase. After this discovery phase, we find the length of the journey and the engagement, and we design it and we implement it and we go there. So this is how it goes. And sometimes it includes some trainings, some assessments, some consultation in some spaces. So in a way, there is no one solution that fits all.
Yeah, of course. So for the company, is it better to wait until there is a problem and then they hire coach, or is it better when I'm establishing the company and building it up and then have this as part of the process of growing? Which one will be like better for for a company, not like and also easier job for you?
So okay, so there is a difference between me and the other coaches that I prefer working with companies after the foundation phase, because there are some other coaches and mentors, they like to work with the organizations in the startup, like in the startup phase, especially when they're, and I see that normally entrepreneurs who are starting up a company, they need all their effort into implementation and execution. Having a coach there may be good for maybe wellness, resilience, maybe mindset, but what they really need day to day is contribution and execution until they actually have like not like a well-established model. And then in the growth phase, coaching comes in as a very powerful tool, especially when the team reaches, that's why I told you, like when they exceed the 20, as people like in the organization, it's better to have a coach besides whatever kind of consulting and partnerships, other partnerships you need. but just to avoid burnout, or maybe work with the resilience, work with achieving the objective. Because normally, like those who start up a company, they have their vision, mission, what they need as a strategy. So they need consultants to make sure that what they're implementing is just right in the first 2 years, and they burn a lot of time and burn a lot of resources and money, and they don't really have quality time for coaching. So I love it, after they finish maybe the second year, the third year, when they start to maybe sustain the company and look for the growth and, retain the talents and this stuff. This is where I fit. But other coaches sometimes work with the founders to support them to find their values, their culture, to work their relational dynamics from the beginning, and they support them in the foundation phase. Maybe at pre the foundation phase, I can support them with that. But during, when they start, like plugging in and saying we are out there, it's a very tough phase, and I don't sense, like most of the clients I met are not very putting investment and time enough in mindful coaching.
Now the courses that you offer.
Mhm.
What was your last course that you
What was my last work, of course, that
offered?
I'm offering, or
Yeah, like you already finished.
uh, my last work, I finished as a student, or
No,
finished as a company. Okay, I'm offering now the team coaching program. It's the second cohort with a new design and new partnership, and this is a systemic based team coaching program that's offered for the application of cultural transformation, and it's focused on the Arab world, because it will be facilitated this time in Arabic with the materials in English. But we are actually ready to do this program for other organizations, for other companies, and other for organizations, for the internal coaches, and for other countries also. If there is an international cohort, we can go out there and do this. But this time it will be facilitated in Arabic.
available online or in person?
It's online. Yeah, of
Online.
course.
So anybody can join.
Anybody can join. Let's see. They will have to understand Arabic spoken, because it will be facilitated in Arabic. Yes.
Okay, so can we be like very mean to ask you, like, because we're heading to Eid, like, can you offer like a coupon for those who are watching us now? Just very small coupon, idea. Very
One for so,
for
so
those
those who
only,
will actually
and they will sign before Eid.
born for those
And
who
maybe we can offer 5 coupons, not more. The first 5 that will join, they will have this coupon code. They have to contact uh, like you through your channel and pay through a payment that you correct. So just 5 coupons for 5 people before, and very like we don't need a huge discount, like only.
okay, so I put something here. So
Thank you so much for asking to
let me just put this
right.
coupon now, because you just
Huh?
so discount for super early birds. I'm sorry that I took you more than the time. More email involved.
So it was very fruitful. I really enjoyed
So
before.
here we go. Okay,
MashaAllah.
so let's
Excellent. This is good. Wow.
so,
So thank you
so
so
I put it on the comments on our YouTube channels. Okay, so it's out there. Okay,
And then
so
our session, inshallah, will be scheduled for Arabic. ال- يكونوا-
okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nivin. I really appreciate the time I took with you, and it was really a pleasure having this discussion. And I hope we answered all the questions we promised our audience that they will have answered today. What is systemic coaching, and how it will benefit you? And maybe you talked about some applications of it. So I hope it was a real good, and maybe we didn't talk about the last question. What do I expect from the journey of development when joining this practice? So maybe we can put this in another interview if you don't mind. I would
Inshallah.
love
And
to.
inshallah, also a subtitle for the video, so people will know what know if just put the few questions I told.
Okay.
Thank you so
Salam.
much. Alaikum.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay. Bye bye. Thank you.